Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show today. We are going to do Release Radar. The microphone is going to be situated on the Osmo Pocket 3. You want to see what's going on in the room today? This is what's up. Hello. I've got the laptop set up on this side. I've got multiple cameras. Let me show you what's going on with cameras. We've got the standard laptop camera, which shows my two other cameras, this is very disorienting. This one and this one. And then I've also got a new introduction into the camera game. I've got this one, which is a wide angle action camera, which is right beside my laptop. It gives a little bit of dynamics to the show. It doesn't really add anything to audio-wise, but it gives us a bit of a difference. So essentially today what we're going to be doing is Release Radar, which is my version of scrolling through songs that are new to me, something that I might like, something that I don't know yet. I do this every once in a while. I try to keep up with it every week, but not every week happens. So we are here today on a Friday, it's March 6th, to listen to some new music. I'll hide my phone just in case something happens on my phone. So we have the KEF R11 Metas. KEF R11 Metas set up in the room. They are open ports, no filters, no crossovers. The SVS SB1000 Pro subs are sealed. They are crossed down at about 40 hertz, no delay, no phase correction anymore. Buckeye Audio is providing monoblocks. These are the purified modules. Awesome Class D amps, no heat, amazing sound. On the other side, we have Michi P5 preamp, Eversolo DMP A8 streamer, which you can't see because it's behind the thing. I could if I turn this other camera around. Let me just utilize the other cameras that I have and just flip this camera around. There's the system. That's the DMP A8 and the P5, the Michi P5. So that's what we're doing today. Lots of cameras. Ask me why I have multiple cameras on my face. I don't know. We're just doing it for the sake of doing it. And yeah, it's going to get a little weird because I've got it on an angle towards the laptop. But you see what's up. Pixel, how you doing, man? Cheers. Good to see you. The sound is coming from that camera. All kinds of weird in here today. So we'll go back to the Action 3. We're going to do one of the Release Radars. So this is the playlist that we're going to be listening to. There's about 28 songs on here. We're going to go through them together. The sound is coming through this microphone over my shoulder. So it won't be, the sound is going to be coming from the speakers in the room through the camera, not through the browser, which I have done before. This playlist looks like it's a little mixed. It looks like it might be a little bit metal, a little bit drum and bass. Hit or miss, it looks like. So if you bear with me, I'll do about 1 minute or 30 seconds of each song, depending on what song it is, and then we'll switch it up and we'll get through the whole list together on this Friday. Adjust my lights there a little bit. All right, let's hit the first song. This is Era. I know this is going to be metal. Let's get some volume on here. How's my volume, Pixel? Happy Friday to everybody. Thank you for joining and watching. It is a Release Radar thing, so we're going to scroll through the songs and then change it up as we go. You can see the titles on screen now. Nice chorus. All right, let's check out the next song. You see the name of the song in the corner over here if you're curious. Some of the songs are it's very random because this is a release radar. You're going to hear a lot of different genres, a lot of different sounds, things like that. It's meant to showcase new songs, new things that I might like. And some of them are interesting. Some of them are a little hit and miss. But it's better than just scrolling through things randomly. And this is more curated. This is very interesting. Some pretty good bass on the low end. A little more atmospheric sounding. A lot of good bass in this song, actually. All right, change it up. Go Go Penguin. Even more bass in this song. Kaidao. I don't know how to pronounce that. Interesting sort of noisy kind of genre of music. Not my favorite. Let's switch it up. This is Rapid by Fine Print. It is AI music, I will say that. I know the artist from Facebook. Very, very AI sounding. Switch it up again. This is Vikram Shankar. He is a pianist that I met through the Sleep Token fan base. He makes his own music, tours on with his own band, plays with other bands. Really cool dude. It's a song by him. How's everybody's Friday this evening? Let me know how you're doing in the comments. If you come to watch afterwards, also let me know which of the songs are your favorite. Every 30 or so seconds, we'll change it up. I'll share a little bit of news at the end of the playlist, and then I will also take a request or two towards the end, depending on how the conversation goes. I'm about a half hour earlier than normal, so we'll see how the crowd is today. We're going to skip the next one because that's a soundtrack composer. I don't want to infringe on that copyright, so we're going to skip to Scrimor and Ghidra. This is going to be drum and bass. A little bit of life in the energy. I'm actually starting to plan a little bit of my Montreal Audio Fest playlist. I want to bring some songs in to that playlist that are going to sound cool. So yeah, I want to bring something new to Montreal every year so that I can showcase the sound, the songs, introduce something to the community, and have some new energy in there. Oh yeah, that's definitely the new vibe. Nice vibe though, I like this. Oh, figures, my head is blocked. All right, switch it up. This is Juice WRLD and Marshmello. So this is going to be like a house track-ish. So again, I am using the microphone from the Osmo Pocket 3. Ooh, lots of bass in this song, that's for sure. So the sound is coming through the Osmo Pocket 3, and it's recording the room. This isn't coming from the browser. Check this one out from Deadmau5 called Animal Rights. Most likely going to be very classic Deadmau5 sound. He doesn't change very much. Oh yeah, that's classic Deadmau5 right there. It's pretty much exactly what you would expect from Deadmau5 music. I gotta say, those a little bit faster than normal, so that's actually pretty cool. Alright, check the next one out. Oh, this one's Smoke in the Air, Level-A. Smoke in the Air is a term from Top Gun. If you hear, that's when enemy fires against you in the air. Then they use flares to counter-attack that in the air. This song should be pretty full of energy. Level-A is a drum and bass DJ. One of my favorites over the last year. It's got lots of energy. Should be good.
Smoke in the air, 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 smoke in the air,
smoke in the air. Oh yeah, that's a nice vibe. Yeah, it actually reminds me, some people online were asking about, wow, that's a great tune. I need to add that to my playlist. Nice. So this song, that kind of energy actually reminds me of, let me flip my camera around while I'm doing this intro. This one. That reminds me of someone was asking me online why KEF speakers, they've seen on online KEF speakers sometimes the surrounds or the cones or whatever, they get blown out and they break. And my comment underneath that question was essentially, well, not everybody understands how speakers work, and what they understand is how they feel when they're playing. And a lot of people will put too much power on their speakers, and types of speakers that are sensitive, have certain materials, they're built in a certain way. They may break or fracture or explode like tweeters, beryllium domes, metal cones. They're made in a brittle way so they can achieve a good sound, but if you overpower them, then they just blow out of the cabinet. LS50s are a type of speaker that is like that. The surrounds are very limited. There's some bass response, but not a lot. So if you drive them with too much power, they are going to explode. And that's basically what I told the guy online. It's not that the brand is bad. There's nothing really wrong with the design overall. It's just, if you're going to drive your speakers with a song like this, you might want to dial it back a little bit, because this has a lot of power in it. So, as an example, you just don't want to push it too hard. If you're dancing, I mean, maybe you want some PA speakers. Really cool sound effects on this one. I like it. All right. Next up. This is Spirit. Distant, Tyler Bean. Obviously a metal tune. Yeah, there's a number of pictures about it online for sure. Okay, we kind of get the idea of this song. Moonlight? Is this really Sting? Nah, I can't play this song. He will definitely get me blocked. What is this? Be Over, Johan Johannesson. This is, he's a composer. He's done some movies before. Let's give this a listen. Hopefully the sound from the camera picks up the system with reasonable clarity. My other camera, doing my live via mobile is absolutely crap. So I'm hoping this is better for everyone. Very, very easygoing. Let's check out the next song. Steve Vai and Joe Satriani. Oh my God. It's the all-time great guitarists. On tour with Animals as leaders. Nice. Interesting vibe. Alright, let's check out the next one. This is We Are Not Friends Next Time. 2012. Interesting. I gotta say, like, this release radar is really all over the map. There's so many different genres in here. There's the solo guitarist, the metal, the drum and bass, the gentle piano soundtracks. A little bit of everything today. Yeah, see, this is a smart comment. Using a proper sub and crossover points, you won't get any distortion clipping, but you're talking about very, very few people that understand exactly what a system needs. And then the random, basically the layman user who's new that just wants to hear it loud, and then bang. So it happens. Both things are true. All right, we're gonna check out Sublab. Looks to be a new song by Sublab, most likely going to be a pretty bass-heavy track. Probably going to remain the same throughout the rest of the song. It's pretty cool by Sublab. We have a new one from AK, who's also a very, very, very nice artist. Usually makes like easygoing, down-tempo sort of sounds, but lately it sounds like he's been picking up the pace, making like faster songs. Ebb and flow, yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, this one definitely sounds faster than normal. Drop the bass at 1 minute. No. Well, that's like that whole song sounds like a build-up, so that's weird. Bjorn Lin is an atmospheric sort of artist. Very interesting dynamic music here. And we're almost finished. There's only 28 songs this week, so stick around for another couple minutes. Give me a suggestion towards the end, and then let me know what you think of the video at the end. Last two videos completely taken by copyright, so I'm going to have to come up with something else soon. Maybe tomorrow, Saturday, we'll do a talking point, but I've got an appointment in the morning, and then in the evening we can come around and do something fun. Nice and dynamic there by Bjorn Lin. Oh, this is straight house vibes. I used HQ Player that had clipping detection option, would auto lower volume if detected. That's cool. Lots of poorly done hip hop with clipping. Yeah. So the recordings and a lot of that stuff, even on Spotify, is the same. This is a pretty nice vibe. I like this. This is new. It's got like a touch of Indian instrumentation in the background. Now that I have this extra camera, I'm actually thinking if I get a longer cable, I can put it up beside the speaker, then you can see the woofer moving. Instead of another version of my face. We're gonna wait for the drop. We're gonna bring the drop in. Why not? That's a nice tune. I like it. Bass doll. All right, switch it up. Tigran Hamasyan? I tried to pronounce it last time, didn't I? I didn't get it right. Dominique Fili-Aimé. Some of these songs look familiar, like I've seen this list before, but I swear I refreshed it. Very interesting dynamic jazz here. I'm going to add that one to that other playlist. Discovered selections. All right, let's move on. And if you don't know this artist, this is the artist that does that song Birds. So it's very, very well recorded. Excellent studio performance.
Earth is bleeding, air is leaking, pain is feeding the pain. Peace be upon you.
So like I said, everything gets copyrighted for the sake of sharing new music. So any support from anybody at all really helps. And looking forward to doing Montreal content and Expona content next month. A lot of fun. All right, let's check out a little bit by Pat Metheny. Very experimental sort of artist. It's always known for very wacky sort of soundscapes, but recordings sound great. Six more songs, and that'll be it for the release radar. Use an oscilloscope to find the clipping limit of RS. Yeah, that's a good idea too. Using any technical device in order to read limits and levels and then keep it within those ranges. A very good idea, but you know your average person doesn't have stuff like that. That's why big box store speakers like Polk and Klipsch and Kef get blown up, because people are just driving the shit out of it. A Lone Star.
See how the streets are getting stopping and looking when I'm in the kitchen seasoning.
Interesting.
They lie you niggas trash like it's hard just to step it up. Google with a gourmet and scientists in the shop.
Busta Rhymes.
And a deli that I always serve the hood 24 hours, feeding niggas the hors d'oeuvres. God rap drop, see Busta Rhymes the great. Prepare the full course meal. Juice leaking from the state. Jack acting like you ain't knowing you niggas must be idiots. My name already, Busta Rhymes ain't affiliate. With Flippo in this bitch, the alliance is kind of serious. Damage everything in the building regardless where it is. The way I saturate the street, I'm only saying I rap.
I'm not sure. I don't know. It doesn't sound like him.
Don't need to ever question on a hood love me. Got an Italians and vegetarians. Feed you if you hungry. Feed you if you hungry. God rap, prophecy, bust rhymes.
Anyways, gonna move on to Lamb of God here, something from the new album. His voice is further back in the mix now than it used to be. Drumming sounds the same. So that's Lamb of God. I know I'm cutting these songs in the middle. Well, that's what I got to do because I can't play the whole thing. This is Carnival. This is a interesting sort of band that's been coming up more recently. I used to blow my car speakers all the time. Don't think I've blown a house speaker. Yeah, me neither. I honestly, car speakers, the way that stuff works, the way that you're like trying to get some volume out of it, there's got to be something with the 4 ohm load, the amp, the way that amps work. But yeah, when you're listening at home, it's not concert levels, but when you're listening in cars, you want that kind of impact from. So it depends on what you're looking for. If people want car audio level sound from home, you should get some PA speakers. All right, 3 more songs. We're seeing some repeats of these bands, though. Not really sure what I think of this. Polish guitarist. Sounds very amateur. Pussy Fur, Bad Wolf. Interesting. I didn't say Pussy Fur. I said Pussifer. I just want to make a note of that.
From the spectrum of grim and beyond the skew of good will are dead and the key.
Yeah, the OEM system, depending on whatever you got going on, like you got to use your money wisely for sure. All right, last song. This is a song by Calm. Uleka. Very interesting sort of progressive rock metal band from Los Angeles. Interesting. Let's see what it sounds like. We're gonna hear it all together. Excellent staging effects. All these instruments are like separated in the sound stages. That's actually really well done. Certainly with Kef, I mean, the Kef R11 Metas, like the sound staging is like perfection. At least the way my room is set up, because that's always important. I can't say it's inherent in the speakers alone, but I think enough people have said that about Kef R11 Metas that the consensus is that they do sound great in most rooms, and measurements will confirm why that's the case. Wow, that's the end of that playlist. I don't know what everybody thought of that. But that is the end of the playlist. My friends, let me see what's going on with this camera over here. So I know that was a little bit of a different sort of take on Release Radar. Not very many people in the chat today. Thank you, Pixel Castle, for being around. Said Hi-Fi 5 group cast went nuclear last night. I did not see it. I don't watch those guys. I probably should watch it to find out like what it was all about. I love a synopsis. September's got hot talking Hi-Fi. They always do. Some of those guys just like let off the handle. They get very, very like intense because they're arguing over subjective and objective and then data. And then if you're not very good at arguing points with facts and other people are just stubborn and don't listen, then that's what you get all that stuff. And to be honest with you, I'm not fucking interested in that. These guys have too much time on their hands and, you know, Discord. Okay, thank you. I'll probably find the link because I probably follow one or two of them. But yeah, that's, you know, it is a thing. It happens. People get up in arms with stuff like that. It happens. Yeah, just like that, this show is basically over. That's my Release Radar for Friday, March 6th. And this is just copyright-free music to see us out. I appreciate you, Pixel, for being here. You're basically the only one that commented this whole show. We are getting into the 6 o'clock timeline, which is when I'm normally on here, so I am a little bit early, about a half hour early, for honest. Turn this down a little bit. Pissing off my neighbors accidentally. I'm sorry. You know, I only do it 1 or 2 days a week. Had some interesting info about magazine reviewers' requirements. This is a good topic. There is, let's just say, there's a lot of NDA stuff that might go on behind the scenes that they don't really want you to know. You know, like, and that's true. Like, anybody who's involved with magazines, the magazine scene, business scene, whatever it is. Can I change my camera microphone now? Let me change the microphone. Let me use a different mic here. Let me know how much this changes. So now, this camera, I'm going to switch to the camera that's on as well. So that's the Action 5 camera. This camera's on now with the microphone as well. So it probably, yeah. So they showed an inside list of requirements of reviewers. Letting the NDA shit go because the NDA stuff is only there to basically protect brands and companies from either things that they're doing, like techniques and designs and like things like that. I can understand why NDA, but otherwise NDAs basically protect them from looking like complete asshats. I've seen some NDA stuff that I'm not allowed to share, and I'm telling you, if we knew the truth behind the curtain, oh my God, can you imagine? Never mind what's going on with Epstein files, it's the same shit. Diddy trials, same shit, NDA, people not allowed to say stuff. Fucking terrible. Society gets manipulated because of that. Hello, Mirage. Welcome, welcome. I know I'm really, really early. I finished all my Release Radar stuff. Yeah, it's a mess. It's definitely a mess. So I'm going to switch my camera up again so I'm still talking in this direction, but I'm using my other microphone from this camera right here. Hello. Switching it up a little bit. Yeah, I'll just do that and put it right on camera. Just make it look really, really awkward. I enjoyed Release Radar. Thank you very much for everybody being here. I do appreciate it. I know that Release Radar kind of, it's hit or miss, right? With playlists that have, here, let me put it on screen. Playlists that have a whole bunch of different songs and artists and genres. It's not going to hit everybody's not going to like all the songs. I didn't even like all the songs, but that's not really the point. I play the lists of songs so that we can discover them together, and then some of them might sound cool and maybe some of them don't. And then each week we can find some new songs. So that's why I'm really doing it, and to hang out with some friends. So they actually want reviewers to have $200,000 of gear to be eligible as a reviewer. I think I know which reviewers these might be, because okay, think about it. Let's put it into perspective, right? I'm sure those guys did too. To put it into perspective, when you have somebody speaking for your brand, think about Ferrari. Ferrari is notoriously known for controlling how their cars are shown in the world, right? Ferrari has a tight grip on it's got to be stereophile or absolute sound or whatever. But there's a bunch of the other ones. I know a bunch of other rooms and brands and deals and dealers, and they're all catering to fucking rich people. That's essentially what it is. It's just rich people entertaining rich people. And that's fine. Let them have their cake and eat it too. It has very, very little to do with me. That's not even my conversation. Why would I even care what they're doing? The thing that I want to care about is when I'm going to shows and I'm doing photography and I'm mentioning everybody's name and I'm putting stuff in the media, do they give a shit? Or when they steal my photos, are they like, oh, you know, you don't have $200,000 system, you're not a reviewer, but we're going to steal your photos and use it because you have talent. But we're not going to hire you because we're fucking cheap. And that's how you become rich. I don't know what the case is. But somewhere along the lines, that doesn't all make sense. I don't know. It's just observation. I don't know what the case is. I'd love to hear an argument about it. But yeah, I've heard some things. But anyways, to go back to this and Ferrari put a big thing up against a lot of people that are in media that like changed their cars. Deadmau5 got fined apparently for changing his Ferrari to something else. There's a bunch of other people notably in contact with Ferrari that they issued cease and desist because it degrades the brand, right? So Ferrari is already known for this in high-end luxury cars. Now, if we want to take other brands and like other pretentious, stuck-up snobbery, hi-fi, whatever, in that same vein, I'm not fucking surprised. I'm not surprised. What did you think was going to happen? Right? Like, your Ferrari buying clientele are also buying YG and Boulder and Wilson and Griffin and what else? Like anything that's over $50,000, like Estalon, you know, like these brands probably just named everything in their showrooms. So the list of requirements had zero need for technical knowledge. I pointed that out in chat. Yeah, so it's not what you know, it's like what you can show off. It's like, hey, look how big my balls are. And people, other men in the hobby look at, oh my God, he's got big balls. I want balls like that. Where do I get balls like that? Let me go and buy this thing. Let me buy these speakers that have the same finish as my Porsche. Am I, you know, does that sound familiar? I could be wrong. Exactly. All you need is a wallet. Yeah. I mean, they say you need brains to make a lot of money, but not anymore. I mean, you could fall into money by accident. You know, other people can make you money. You just happen to be sitting on money. It doesn't mean like that's part of the psychology of my channel. So I'm interested in what this is about. And the psychology of sales is about selling an experience. And the truth of the matter is, I have no right. No one else has any right to tell other people how So rude. In the middle of watch the AI thing, clip that. None of us have any right to tell anybody else how to enjoy their money, how to live their life. They're not hurting anybody. Caveat on that point, actually. They're not physically hurting anybody. They're not causing undue harm in other ways like defamation and characterizations, and you know what I mean? If they're not doing those things, then they can live however they want. They can do whatever they want. They can believe in whatever they want. They could be wrong and still do that. That's fine. It's part of the deal we make as society is we're going to have a bell curve. You know, not everybody's going to agree in the middle. That's fine. That's part of it. But when you get this, a requirement for a magazine to have no technical knowledge, but just show off some cool shit in the background and then give your subjective opinion, it's just superficial advertising. That's all it is. You put some sexy female in front of an audio system and you wonder, what the fuck does she have to do with the audio system? Doesn't matter. It's the dudes watching that go, oh, gotta have it. Period. Let me mention Diddy and Epstein again. What are we talking about these days? You can't, you know what I mean? Like, this kind of interest, this kind of marketing, this kind of brain rot advertising, it's obviously not meant for an intellectual crowd. If it was, it wouldn't be advertised the same. I can guarantee you that. There's groups, and it's fine. As long as they're not hurting anybody, then whatever. Let them have their cake and eat it too. What are we supposed to say? It's better that we just kind of carry on with our own conversations, because let's face it, there's an entire section of the market that's aging out. Hey, that's facts. You don't get younger. I don't care how much baby blood you drink and how many stem cells you harvest. Whatever rituals you want to perform with the owls, you're not getting younger. It's just not going to happen. True, I sit back and watch. Yeah, I mean, it's cool like to bring it to my attention, but I already know that there's some shady shit going on behind the scenes. Even YouTube reviewers, I can't say names because I really don't want anybody, you know, it's like it borders on an offense. But I know by talking to people behind the scenes of others that are in the industry that they get paid to make reviews. They don't do the review unless they get paid. They ask the money and then they do the work. That's the really shitty part about getting a shill label is you get called a shill if you get paid for what you're doing. Everybody gets paid for what they're doing. Just because you work at like, you know, a grocery store doesn't mean you support the grocery store. They're paying you, but are you like a, you know, CVS shill? No. Are you an AT&T shill because you work at AT&T? No, you just fucking work there. But you wouldn't work there if they didn't pay you. So using the shill as a weapon, the word shill to like attack somebody else, brain rot. I mean, it's not intellectual. You can tell these flags are out there in society for everybody in the bell curve. You just know who people are because they can't wait to tell you who they are. Best advice. Sit back and watch. Have a better conversation. Use our time together as a group here. Use our time better in conversation. Anyhow, I'm going to get out of here. That's probably enough ranting from me. We're going to do this one on the way out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching. I appreciate you joining to watch the Release Radar. My Facebook and YouTube streams did go pretty well, so I appreciate that. Let me see. They had a big discussion about reviewers getting long-term samples. Yeah, because that's like you didn't get monetary value, right? You didn't get monetary value to do a review, but you got long-term equipment so you could talk about it, showcase it, make how many videos out of it. These guys that are like, I don't get paid from my videos. So if anybody accused me of doing this, you're wrong, because I don't get paid enough to justify even half of the equipment that I bought. So I might have long-term loan, made whatever, like it's advertising, but essentially the brand is getting free advertising because I'm not getting paid for it. I got the gear and it's cool, but I didn't get money for it. It didn't buy me food. It didn't pay my rent. It didn't help me get any like medical supplies. It doesn't, buy my shoes. Thanks, Mirage. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the warmer weather. It is coming up in the world a little bit at a time. Thanks, Pixel, for being here. We'll send me the links. I appreciate you for being here this evening. I will see you both tomorrow, probably. Saturday we'll do some other kinds of things. And me and my superfluous 3-camera setup. It is the end of the stream, so thank you very much. I will see everybody tomorrow. Enjoy the weekend. Take care of yourselves. Drink some water, which is what I'm going to do. And yeah, enjoy the pants.